because I was very interested in art and drawing and painting and stuff like that, religious imagery really impressed me. So I think, looking back, I'm 43 years now, looking back at the age of 5, I think in a way that God has sort of guided me. He wants me here for some reason. I don't know, maybe I haven't found that reason yet, but I'm here today and I'm just doing what I'm doing. So, from the Catholic Church, around the age of 5, I also happen to have Greek neighbours that lived across the road from me, the FTW family over at Windsor. And I said to them, I'm going to this local church on my own. And I was around about 6, 7 years old. Back then, you didn't have to worry about walking the streets when you were a kid. It was safe back then. You know, I used to walk to the Saturday night Mass at the Catholic Church at Windsor up on the hill there. And the Greek family said to me, well, why don't you come with us one Sunday morning to the Greek Orthodox Church? Oh, okay. I think I had seen some sort of service of the Greek Orthodox Church on TV once before. But I said, oh yeah, this should be interesting. And once I got there, it was like, oh wow. This is much nicer than the Catholic Church. Look at all these icons everywhere, and the priest has got these beautiful vestments, and there's incense and candles, and you know, the good old smells and bells. It's what people see when they first enter an Orthodox Church, people outside the Orthodox Church. It's the first thing that confronts them, what they see, what they smell, and things like that. And I'll get to that later on. That's a very, very important part of Orthodoxy. Don't ever take it for granted what we have, all this richness in the symbolism, in the icons and the vestments and candles, this, that and the other. It is important. It's not just for good looks, but I'll get to that later. And anyway, so I decided I want to start coming here to this church. And it was the church, the Greek Orthodox Church of St. George at South Brisbane, which is the oldest and the main church amongst the Greek church in Brisbane. And anyway, the family moved back to their island in Greece, and I just started catching the train to church on my own at the age of about 8 or 9, 10. Catch the train on a Sunday morning. I didn't really know anyone at the time, so I used to hang around the front of the church. In a Greek church, you know how you walk into the Serbian church, and in the middle of the church they have the icon, we love the candles, things like that. In the Greek church, because there's slight differences amongst our traditions, our icons that we kiss when we enter the church are directly as you enter the church, they're right in front of the church as you walk in. And of course, us Greeks being lazy, we have seats in our church, so you know, the furniture's just a bit rearranged, that's all. But essentially, it's all Orthodox. And anyway, I hung around at the front of the church, and I noticed the old guys who were putting out the candles. You know, the old guys that stand behind the candle stand. You have anyone from the candle stand here? Good, I can say bad things about it. No, I'm just joking. And I started putting the candles out myself at around the age of 9 or whatever. And the priest, Father Reverend, who's still alive to this day, he noticed me at the front of the church, and he called one of the ushers and he said, bring that young boy in here. And so I went into the altar. And this is actually a big no-no, because I wasn't actually baptised Orthodox, but he made me an altar server, even though I hadn't been baptised Orthodox. And I didn't know until I was a lot older and understood, you know, our rules and regulations of what we do, our guidelines. And so I stayed an altar server there, and while I was a young boy, I used to stand behind the altar and I'd listen to exactly what the priest was saying, and I'd try and mimic him, everything that he was saying. And so, in a roundabout kind of way, I ended up learning the ancient Greek that we use in the services before I was able to say Yeshua or anything like that in the modern Greek. And I made the decision back then, I want to become a priest. And anyway, time goes on, my teenage years got a bit rebellious, sort of walked away from the church for about a year or two, and then something brought me back. It was the death of my godfather. I went to the funeral. All of a sudden I was in the church at the funeral, I just had this overwhelming urge that I have to get back on this track again of heading towards the priesthood. And so anyway, I ended up commencing my studies at St Andrews, where Milan also studied, at the age of 21. And once I finished my studies, I came back here to Brisbane, worked in various places around the community. And the last secular job that I got was being the parish office administrator over at the Gravatt Church. And that's where I met my wife, because she happened to be a priest daughter. So I met her there, but I found out that she was born in New Zealand as well, and so was I, and so that's how we hit it off with each other, and with this in common, and I suppose the rest is history. And, we were sort of starting to date, as you would say, and the first night I went to her house for dinner with her parents, and her father got up and announced that we were getting married. Okay, alright, why not? I'm glad we did. We got married, but when I went to my Archbishop to his office to hand him an invitation to come to our wedding, he said he's deaconing. And he says, go get my diary. He went and got his diary, and he goes, okay, so you're getting married on the 10th of September. This was 2006. We're going to ordain you to the priesthood on the 16th of October. To the diaconate on the 16th of October. So we got married, and then I had to start growing a beard on my honeymoon. That's how much short a time I had to prepare. I stayed a deacon for 3 months, and then at a national youth conference here in Brisbane back in the beginning of 2007, I was ordained as a priest. And so this coming January will be 10 years that I'm down at the Gravatt Parish, and I don't seem to be going anywhere at the moment. I'm not being transferred. I'm going places. It's a huge, vibrant parish. It's probably geographically one of the largest parishes in southeast Queensland, just due to the geographical boundaries of the areas that I have to look after. So I basically go all the way from Annerley, close to the city, all the way down to Beenleigh, left and right, east and west. So that's a bit about me. Now, back to the topic. Why are you Orthodox?
It's how you feel, how it feels to you. As you grow older, you see other things, you take in other information, other points of view. And I guess we all at some point in our lives get taken away and then come back.
Why am I Orthodox? I just wanted to say, for myself, St. Nicholas Church Waco is a big part, and I can say my parents baptising me, bringing me to this church, and being at this church and this community, and the love that this church and the people have, around you.
Yeah.
For me, that's the answer that I would give.
That's beautiful. Through your baptism, you've been given this gift, even though you don't remember it. And it's what you do with that gift as life goes on later in life. It's up to you to cultivate that seed and to make it grow, basically. Baptism is the restoring of your soul, basically, to its original state, the way it was.
Also, when you're a baby, you're pure already.
No, not necessarily. We think of babies being pure. This is probably going to sound really harsh, but when we're born, we're sort of born, you can't see it, you're covered in basically sin. Everyone. An inherent sin that everyone is born into. That type of sin, imagine it like polluted air around the world, which is everywhere we go, polluted air. And that's what's been permeating the world ever since the beginning, is this sin, this polluted air. And it just, weaves in and out of people's souls, and it inhabits, their day-to-day lives and things like that. But through baptism, that's the only way that we can basically wash away all that gunk that basically the devil has put upon this earth, and us through our own selfishness. Basically, through the baptism, we wash that away, and we're starting all over again. You've been born, okay? And babies, we say babies, they are pure. Morally, they are pure to us. But in a spiritual sense, they are still tainted by sin. And it's only through baptism that takes away that sin. And you basically, baptism is a rebirth, you're being born again. The font that you're placed in is like a womb. and you're coming out of that, or 3 times over it is, you're coming back out of that womb and you've been born anew. So because we can't see what the soul is doing, okay, it can have certain ramifications on you throughout your day-to-day life. Have you ever heard of psychosomatic illnesses? A psychosomatic illness is something that starts off with a thought or a feeling, and eventually it produces itself as a physical illness. Okay? Stress is a good example. Stress exists up here, it's not a physical thing. Okay? But the more and more stress you get, the more you can create ulcers within your stomach. Okay? So that's something that's not physical, but it makes itself manifest as physical within your body. Okay? And it's the same thing. The mind and the soul are interconnected with each other. Okay? The more that the mind and the soul, as we talk about it in Christian terms, the more that the soul is pure and in harmony in a relationship with God, well, the more life is better. It's up to you to cultivate that relationship with God. Jesus said it wasn't going to be easy. There are promises made to us eventually, when we get to them. But the Christian life is not the easy life. But it is the road to go. If you want to get to find the greatest riches that no person has ever seen on the earth, then you have to follow this hard path. And it can be hard. And we us Orthodox, because we are probably the only ones within Christianity that take the entirety of the faith at once. And that's why we have so many different things like fasting, or celebrating feast days, or confession, or Holy Communion, and things like all these different things. I mean, we've got such a rich history. The Protestant Christians sort of look at us and go, man, you guys do so much, and we've got so much, on your plate. Why don't you just be like us, and, we just praise God, and that's it, it's all good. Did you have to worry about fasting and stuff like that? Oh, hang on a second. I vaguely remember some guy called Jesus in the Bible saying, when you fast, He didn't say if you fast, he says when you fast. Jesus didn't get rid of fasting or anything like that. Okay? It's not something that kind of went out with the new covenant. No, this is an important tool that we need to use. So it's things like that enhance the entire Orthodox experience. And that is why our faith is so rich, is because we take on board the entirety of the faith, everything within Scripture. Okay, we've taken on board everything that has happened throughout the history of the church. We've taken it on board. It's become a part of us. It's become a part of our identity. You can't sort of pick and choose about what you want. Now, having said that, I mean, we are all human beings. We are all frail. We all have our weaknesses. And things like fasting or whatever, we find it hard sometimes. We really find it hard. The key to fasting and to keep doing it is keep practicing. This is why the church has created, 4 huge periods of the year where we fast. The greatest one being Lent, leading up to, the crucifixion and resurrection of our Lord. This one that you're about to go into, which is the Dormition fast for Our Lady, that's only 2 weeks. If you sort of only do it for one day, here and there, it's just not as effective. When it comes to fasting, so I'm sort of going a bit off topic and concentrating on certain elements of the Orthodox faith. When it comes to fasting, you have to try and think of the soul and the body as keeping in balance with each other. I talked about the psychosomatic things. We exercise our body to keep our body healthy. Okay, we eat certain foods to keep healthy, to not, gain too much weight or anything like that. Try not to eat too many fatty foods. We get bombarded with it on TV, on a daily basis. You've got to stay healthy. The health system is clogged up with, people with all these illnesses. But it's the same with the soul. You've got to put a lot of effort and a constant effort into practicing certain things such as fasting. Because it's only when you persevere and you do things regularly that you start to see the fruits. If you keep all the fasts that the church has recommended throughout the year, you will start to see the fruits of what that fasting is about. You will start to see that you stop doing things that were harmful to your own soul, or that were offensive to other people, and things like that. You will start to, eventually it'll click in your mind, hang on a second, I feel a lot different now. Why is that? Oh, hang on a second, we've just been through a fasting period at the moment. I feel like I've changed a bit. And then you've got to try and keep that mindset all year round in those non-fasting periods. Okay? Fasting is not about just the food or anything like that. More importantly, that's a tool. More importantly, it's about what comes out of your mouth, what goes into your mind. These things are the most important. Okay? Living the gospel to its fullest during these fasting periods. What did Jesus talk about the most within his teaching? Love. Showing love to other people. That is the key to peace and happiness, and basically creating heaven on earth within yourself. When we say we believe in heaven and hell, let's say for example, a lot of people say heaven is up there, a lot of people say hell is down there. But a lot of the fathers said that hell and heaven are more experiences. And you can experience hell while you're living here on earth. And there are a lot of people out there in the world, within their souls, within their minds, who are living in hell at the moment. But there are also a lot of people who are living in heaven. They have created, through the tools that the church has offered, fasting and things like that, they have created the kingdom of heaven within themselves. When we die, when we physically die, that's when the realization of what is inside of us will come forward. And you will truly see what heaven is actually like in all of its glory. But for the time being, us lowly human beings, as we live on this earth, we've got to make the choice whether we want to be in heaven or we want to be in hell. How do you want your mind to be? Everyone wants to be in heaven, of course. But it takes effort to strive to get there. Try to take all those tools that the church has given us and put them into practice. And eventually, you'll start to see changes in your life. And if you fall, if all of a sudden you're at a party and, I don't know, the Cheerios and sausage rolls, so I don't know exactly, the kids eat it. And you're like, oh, I'm really hungry. I'll just take one. Oh, that was bad. I'm going to take one. I've already started, so I'll just take one. Don't be harsh on yourself that you have committed a great sin against God. What you do is you just start over again the next day. And you pray, God, give me strength that I can endure this fast and not fall again like I did yesterday. But you just got to keep on asking for strength. If you commit a sin, and some of the most grievous sins are against other people, what you say to them, what you do to them, how you address them, what you say to them, what you say to them when they're not there to other people. That's even more destructive because you're spreading hate. Those things, when you sin, you ask for God's forgiveness and then you just get back up again. I had to think back to my theological college days. The term sin, and it's the same word that's used in the New Testament, in the original Greek, amartia. In Greek, if you put an A in front of a word, it usually negates it. The word martyr, people who have been killed for the faith. A martyr, loosely translated, means to be a witness. Okay? Someone who is witness to the grace of God, the workings of God within their life. If it's an amartia, you've missed the mark. To sin is to miss the mark, okay? You've always got this target in your life. The target is God, okay? And you're striving to get closer and closer to God. In fact, St. Athanasius the Great said that God became human so that humans could become God. Not in his essence, the way he is, all divine, all seeing, all knowing, this, that, and the other, but to become like God. Okay? So you're striving in your Christian life to be like God, when you sin, you're not being a witness to God anymore. You're missing the mark altogether. Okay? You just get back on track again. It's easy.
So,
Don't beat yourselves up if you get off track. We are human beings. We all make mistakes. But don't get to the habit of doing it. Stay on that path. Okay? When you strengthen your soul, okay, through like we said, fasting, practicing, works of mercy and things like that towards other people, you are building up your soul to be stronger and stronger and stronger. And the stronger you build up your soul, like the weightlifter who's building his muscles up on his body, the stronger you build up your soul through the tools that the church has given us, the harder it will be for sin to take over in your life. The most important thing that we need to remember is the cultivation of God within our lives. The cultivation of that seed that was given at baptism within our lives. Only that will make us Orthodox Christians. What does it truly mean to be an Orthodox Christian? The New Testament says that we are all called to become saints. You always hear the sermon on All Saints' Day from your priest. It's like, no, I'm not going to become a saint. These saints were like, superhuman people. No, not really. Most of the saints, in fact all the saints, probably except for the Mother of God, were just everyday human beings that committed sin. And they were the ones who were doing exactly what I just said, picking themselves up every time they sin against God. Constantly picking themselves up all the time. What is the purpose of life on this earth?
To learn from our mistakes, from our sin.
Good. Very good answer. But what is the goal? I mean, just saying generally, not heaven or anything like that.
Worship Christ.
The goal is to become perfect. We are called to become perfect beings. Okay? Strive to perfection within your soul. Don't just strive for perfection within your physical being. Okay? But everyone's going to be a supermodel or anything like that. Everyone's got their different gifts and stuff like that. But the thing you can't see, the thing in your soul, once you strengthen that, okay, then you're definitely on your way to becoming the perfect being. That is the purpose of our life. Theologically speaking, the purpose is to get back to that original state that Adam and Eve were in before they committed the first sin in the Garden of Eden. They were perfect beings. Okay? Before they committed sin, what happened? They could never die. They could never get sick. Lots of different things. Anthropologists actually say that the structure of our teeth actually shows that we were supposed to be herbivores. We're not supposed to eat meat. Carnivores. And some of the fathers of the church have actually said that through sin entering the world, through the fall of man, that nature has been totally upset that animals attack us and we attack animals, and we eat animals and animals eat us. And it's like the whole of creation has just been mixed up. And it's only because of sin, because man just decided to turn his back on God and ignore what he was saying. We've got to strive to get back to that perfect state of Adam and Eve in the garden. I'm not saying take your clothes off and go run around in someone's backyard that's got a nice garden or anything like that. Everything in moderation, of course. But I'm talking about you as a being, who you are, what is inside of you, okay? Your identity. Make yourself a perfect being. Okay, God creates Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, okay? And it's the most beautiful garden anywhere in the entire world. And God says you can do whatever you want, okay? Eat whatever you want, the fruits and pick the flowers and do this, that and the other. But there's this one thing, just this one thing I've asked of you. Don't touch that tree. There's this one tree. He says, don't touch it. And what happens is the devil comes along and says to Eve, hey Eve, there's some nice juicy fruit on those trees over there. Look at that. I reckon you should go for it. And Eve's like, oh, yeah, alright. I'm just curious as to what it tastes like. Curiosity didn't kill the cat. Curiosity brought sin into the world. So Eve goes and she's like, hey Adam, come and taste of this fruit. And Adam's like, oh no, this is It's okay, it's alright, this guy, he told me it was okay to take it. So they both taste the fruit, God comes back, what have you done? And they're like, we ate the fruit. And then they start blaming it on each other. The way it's written, even though it's one of the oldest stories in history, you know, even elements of it appear in so many other different ancient civilizations. The whole scenario of the woman blaming the man, and then the man blaming the woman, and then blaming each other in front of God. She made me do it, he made me do it, you know. Oh, let's blame it on the devil. Yeah, the devil made me do it. One of the greatest cop-outs in history. No, you are responsible. You are responsible, no one else. If you've done it, own up to it. That's it. If you committed the sin, own up to it. They wouldn't even own up to it. And so God basically kicks them out of the garden. And from that time, because they disobeyed God, there was this one great thing that he told them not to do. And because they disobeyed God, that was the first sin committed within the world. And from that time onwards, everything starts to change. Okay? And that's when we start to get natural disasters within the world. Earthquakes, hurricanes, bushfires, floods, you name it. We start to get sick as human beings. Okay? And eventually, the worst thing of all, physically we die. Adam and Eve were created to be eternal. Okay? Because they were in paradise. It was basically heaven and earth. But because they sinned, because they turned their back on God and disobeyed him, God said, you can't live here anymore. I can't have all your kids running around in my garden. You got to go off. Never before in history have human beings been so influenced
By the media.
every moment of every day, exactly. By the media, by television, by politicians, speeches themselves, you know. There's just so many people just trying to vie for your attention, and 9 times out of 10, what's it for? Money. Be your own person. You don't have to conform to what society tells you. In fact, Christians are supposed to be outside of society. We are the rejects of society. Okay? When we are actually citizens of heaven. That is our citizenship, the kingdom of heaven. Okay? Doesn't matter whether you're Aussie or Kiwi or Serb or Greek or whatever. Okay? Ultimately, our identity is to become citizens of heaven. That's what we are attaining for. We want to go back to our homeland. But we're going to live like we're in our homeland here on earth. Even though there's a lot of bad stuff out there, we just keep on striving to the homeland. Keep looking towards the gate of heaven. Mum and Dad get married and they have a child. And that child is the product of their love. God is like a parent. He's given birth to you. He loves you. But he's not going to force you, okay, to do this or to do that. And that's the whole where free will comes into it. Predestination basically excludes free will. You've really got to think, okay, what was Jesus doing back then? How was he relating to people? How was he preaching the message? How did he address people?
He loved it.
Exactly. And in the New Testament it says you are all called to become saints. We're all called to be followers of Christ. We're all called to be apostles. Okay? And the one thing that Jesus says to the apostles, he says, people will know, that you are my followers, my disciples, through the love that you show to each other. That is the one mark, especially of an Orthodox Christian, that we need to show the outside world there, and that is love. Do those people make you angry?
Of course, because I see there's so great injustice in the world.
I know.
Wow.
But you still have to learn to love them. And that's one of the hardest things. That's your homework. That's your homework from tonight. You've got to learn to start loving these people. Even though you hate what they do, you still have to learn to love them. You heard of the Jesus prayer? Yes. Lord Jesus Christ, I have mercy on this sin. Constant practice of the Jesus prayer Okay? And it's not just the mouth saying, it's an art. It's the art of prayer. The saying of Jesus' prayer starts with the mouth. Then you've got to get it into the head. And eventually you've got to get it into the heart. When it gets down into the heart, that's when you will not feel hatred towards those people who are against you. When you're in a confrontation with someone who disagrees with you, particularly about faith and things like that, okay? You can debate, that's fine. It won't get you anywhere, mate. 9 times out of 10 it will not get you anywhere. So my advice is, don't continue in the debate too long. It's not a who's going to win situation. You've just got to know before it starts that neither of you are going to win. So don't take it to that extreme. Okay? But in a confrontational situation, while that person is talking, even though you listen to him, just in your mind, say the Jesus prayer. And keep on doing that, doing that, doing that. Eventually, one day, it'll start to come from your heart. And your heart will be softened through the constant repetition of the name of Jesus. And once your heart becomes softened, no one will faze you at all.
So when the
People
Jehovah's
come
Witness
up and
comes
spit on
knocking,
you and set you on fire, and you still don't worry about it. You still pray for them. That's what you do. You pray for other people. Bless those that curse you. If people curse you, bless them. Pray for them. And that's the only way to soften your heart. From the day that she was born, having you been teaching her how to grow up to be an Orthodox Christian? True? The older she gets, the more she is going to remember what you taught her rather than what
She's bombarded.
someone at school taught her. It's the words of the parents in the end that will stay with the child, not whatever the current debate is about words and terminology and things like that. Don't worry. Don't worry.
To be honest, I'm petrified.
I know a lot of people worry. Try not to worry.
No way.
Try not to worry. If you have instilled within her the teachings of the Orthodox Church, she's on the right track. Words will come and go, debates will come and go about terminology, and can't call this person that, can't call this person that. Okay? But if we teach our children the basics of Orthodoxy and the basics of what the teachings of Jesus, love your enemy, love your neighbour, things like that, you don't have anything to worry about. All parents are worried. I'm worried for my kids too. It's just a parenting. It's not just you, it's every other parent in this room. We all worry about what's going to happen to our kids.
And you can only guide, you can't control.
Exactly, you can only guide. But the more and more my kids are getting older, and my oldest is turning 19 soon, the more I'm starting to see what we have instilled in him starting to pay off. Bottom line is, and this will probably have to go into a second talk another time. The Orthodox Church has the truth.
Has
The truth. The entirety of the truth. I don't want to sound mean or anything. Other Christian groups have got little bits and pieces of the truth, but they don't have the whole truth. Only Orthodoxy has the whole truth. Never, ever take it for granted. It's the most beautiful and the most fullest faith within the entirety of Christianity.